Mr. Chairman. You know, as we learn from all these disasters, Mr. Nimitz, we picked up how to better construct, better codes and everything else. Why do you think some of these states are so reluctant to do this mitigation, codes and reinforcement? What do you think that is?
So I think the decision on building codes is almost always local, and those decisions based on other economic factors, desires for certain development. But I do think that we as the federal government need to continue to ensure that when we invest, it's invested to codes. Currently, FEMA has out for comment with our stakeholder groups changes to our public assistance program that would require whether a state has or a community has code or doesn't have code. If they don't, if they want us to build back their infrastructure, it will have to be built back to either a national or an international code. So we are taking it very seriously to say, even if a community doesn't feel that codes are of value, we do, and when we invest federal dollars, we will build back to a code.
You know, one of the things that bothers me about New Jersey is the fact that 3 years later, we'll still have people that have not gone back to their homes. And there's plenty of blame to go around. You know, I think that in terms of these disasters, you not only have to mitigate it before, but I think there's got to be some sort of post-disaster where you're ready to come in and watch over some of these guys that are the fraudulent applications and everything else, and not take years before we can come up with the people who are perpetrating a fraud. And to me, I think you have to be ready right after the disaster. Can you talk to that?
Yes, sir. And I can proudly say that we have moved rapidly since Katrina to ensure that we have programs that have as much protection as possible. But I will tell you, sir, that if we have to err on the side of supporting a valid requirement and a fraudulent requirement, we are likely to support that requirement. But we do. It takes a time to go back and relook. And as you know, in New Jersey now, you're seeing the first cases of prosecution of fraudulent, where people have taken money from those that need to recover in their primary homes, claiming that their secondary home was a primary home, and taking those dollars away from those people that need it. It does take time, and we have to realize that during that immediate post-disaster, we want to make sure that those people that need the money get it, and there will be people that take advantage of it, but we don't give up. And as you said, sir, it may take too long, but we don't stop. We continue to go back and recoup those monies from people that fraudulently or accidentally applied for resources that they didn't deserve. We're down below the national standard from financial institutions in recovering money, down below 1%. So I think we do a pretty good job of ensuring that the money goes to those people who deserve it and need it.
You know, I come around, I used to be one of these guys that you have to require certain things, and I come around a lot to providing incentives. Because if the federal government is going to give you some money, I think that mitigation codes or strong codes should be part of it. I look at these disasters in the Midwest. I see these tornadoes, Oklahoma. I'm not trying to single out Oklahoma, but it just seems that they get much more than anybody else. And I see where schools are even damaged. You know, to me, if the federal government is going to give a state money to build a school, you should require a stronger code to build the schools. And I understand that these schools were built before. But, you know, going forward, I think that's something that we should look into. Because some of these schools always, they serve as shelters too in some of these communities. And I see the damage in some of these schools and some of these homes. So I think I'm coming around to the idea of incentives, Mr. Chairman, to provide these people so they can build the kind of codes that they need to deal with some of these disasters. Thank you.
Thank you. I will now begin a